1969 AMC Hearst SC Rambler A paint scheme. 1970 AMC Javelin Trans Am. 1970 AMC Rebel the Machine. 1969 AMC Hearst SS AMX.
It's Scott Steer. Yep. Okay, it's a 69 Hearst Rambler Scrambler. It's a 1969 Rambler Rogue, which is a two-door hardtop. And they were kind of introduced late into the muscle car game, but in March of 1969, AMC introduced this car at the Chicago Auto Show, and it was limited production. They needed something to get into the youth market in a hurry. I mean, they had the AMC AMX and the Javelin, which were really successful. This one was like a little over the top. It was like way over the top at the time, almost like laughable over the top. But it's a 390 with a 4-speed. They had Hearst converted them just like Hearst Olds or a Hearst Grand Prix or a Hearst Chrysler 300. They kind of, at the spill out, they kind of set them on the side and added the Hearst goodies to them and pinstriped them. They made 1,512 of them in '69. Had no problem selling them, which was, they thought they would barely sell the first 500. And they went ahead and ordered, they sold so fast they had another 500, of which some of them are a more subdued paint scheme than this. This is what they call the A scheme, the red, white, and blue. The B scheme is mostly white with the red and blue stripes below the door. The majority of them look like this though. This car is a little later. The serial number ends in 301. I think this is from the last batch of the 500, so it's a late. There's a date code stamped in the webbing of the trunk of these Rambler Americans, and this one's sometime like May, sometime mid-May. The webbing for the trunk was stamped, so the car's pretty late. And anyways, they were cheap, disposable. They were less than $3,000 new, and 315 horse, posi traction, dual exhaust, and a 4-speed. They went pretty good, and people beat the heck out of them. And there ain't a whole lot of them left because most of them lived a very rough life, as did this one. This one, although it's fairly original, I mean, it's still pretty correct. It was pretty tough. There's traction devices on these cars from the factory. They call them torque links, and they were torn right off the frame from like wheel hop, like from, just laying on it from the get-go, and rub marks up so high in the wheel well you wouldn't think the springs would flex that far going up. I mean, there were rub marks all the way up at the top of the wheelhouse from the back tires jumping up. We bought this car in 1997, and in 1999 we decided to refinish the outside of it. So we kind of had it apart for a couple of years and just basically refinished the paint part. The interior, the door panels, the bumpers are, my original bumpers are, they're replated, but the rest of the trim, like that Hearst medallion and all of chrome finishes of the stainless around the window and all that, that's all original. Some of the finishes under the hood are still original, as is, like I said, the headliner, the door panels, the seats, and all that stuff. It has 42,000 miles on it.
Hard miles.
Pardon? Well, they were hard miles when it was new, you betcha, man. Yeah, I was surprised to have the frame torn up like that. The spring perch pockets were bent in the chassis. It's a unibody car, although they did put convertible floor pans in these cars that tied the two subframes together. And the last American convertible was made in '67. They did not make them in '68 and '69. So they must have had the dies around for those rails to tie the frame back together, and they went back and produced them and put them into this two-door hardtop car, and then they rolled the wheel well lips up from the factory so they could get bigger wheels and tires on it. It has staggered shocks, which a normal one wouldn't, and the steering box is out of an AMX. It's a quick ratio steering that they put in. It's basically an AMX grafted into a Rambler American body is pretty much what the car is. After 5,500, you can't pull it. I mean, like power shift it. Oh yeah, it's tight, man. It's really tight. Because I don't care for T-handles myself. And when you slam second, the T-handle is a little, because of the body of it, it seemed to get my knuckles into the upholstery, even though the seat's back all the way. And I prefer the round ball myself anyways. I always did. I put the round ball. But it would have had a T-handle, Hurst T-handle when it was new.
Yeah, I can remember when I was a kid down at Union Grove, they came out with the whole factory.
Hurst stuff?
Cars, yeah.
Or
no, they were Hurst,
AMCs?
The AMC red, white, and blue cars. You know, they had
sure. It's been fun. This one has some machine work done to the motor, and it runs 1230s through the mufflers with street tires on it. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. It does have a T10 in it too.
If you could tell us a little bit about your car, what model it is, what year?
Well, it started out actually as a 1975 six-cylinder green, and it was out west. And when I bought the car, the reason why I bought it is because it was all metal and very little rust on it, and it had possibilities. So when I got the car, I ran into a guy in Waukesha named Matt Backhouse on Street Cars. And we looked at this, and I had this little model when I was in high school called the Motion Camaro. It was green with a black stripe just like this. I said, man, I really like it.
I really do, yeah.
But I don't like green.
Yeah, like
because I have
green or the little dark
exactly.
green. Yeah, I remember that car.
I have a little red express. I thought, I got a red truck.